digestion of protein in stomach, the food enters into the small intestine. So before entering into small intestine, the action of liver and the action of pancreas plays an important role in digestion of fat. So let us see how that takes place. Okay. So the food from the stomach will reach the part called the duodenum. I told you duodenum is the initial part of the small intestine. Okay, so that is the initial part of small intestine. So this duodenum is a place which connects the liver and the pancreas. So what will happen? Here you will have the gallbladder and the largest gland, liver. So liver secretes bile, which has bile pigments and bile salts. Bile salts and bile pigments. So it doesn't carry any enzyme, it has only bile salts and bile pigments. So this bile salts will convert the larger globules of fat. So fat will be in the form of soap bubbles. Okay, so they are called larger globules. These larger globules, it turns into smaller globules. So this is done by the action of bile salts. So you call this conversion as emulsification of fat. So you call this as emulsification of fat. Okay. And this bile pigment, they give color to feces as well as urine. Feces is the waste that we excrete out every day. Okay. So the bile will be stored in gallbladder temporarily. So whenever the process of fat takes place, digestion of fat takes place, the stored fat will be utilized. So this will be connected to the duodenum. So we have a duct called the bile duct which connects. So bile duct which connects the liver with the duodenum. On the other side, we have the leaf-like structures called the pancreas. Pancreas is called the dual gland. Liver is the largest gland, whereas pancreas it is called the dual gland. Why? Because it helps in digestion as well as it helps in production of hormones. So that we'll read it in the upcoming classes. So pancreas, it produces trypsin, lipase as well as amylase. So this lipase will help in the digestion of fat. The meaning of lipase is fat can also be called as lipid. Okay, so digestion of fat. So what will happen? With the help of pancreatic duct. So here the bile duct will connect the duodenum, and whereas here the pancreatic duct connects the duodenum. So now both the secretions, the lipase as well as the bile, will enter the duodenum and reaches the small intestine for the digestion of fat. So what medium was maintained in stomach? Very good. Acidic medium was maintained in stomach, but to occur fat digestion, the medium has to turn into alkaline. Okay. So now what medium will be in the small intestine? Alkaline. So with the help of alkaline medium and the secretions of liver and pancreas, fat digestion takes place in small intestine. And we also have certain intestinal juices that is secreted in the small intestine. So the intestinal juice in small intestine will finally break down all the complex substances into simpler ones. That is why complete digestion takes place in small intestine. Okay. Do you remember Holozoid children? What are the 5 steps involved? The first step will be ingestion. The second step will be digestion. So I told you the complete digestion takes place in small intestine. Then what will be the next step? Very good, absorption. Now, the digested food has to be absorbed, which means the nutrients, the simpler forms of nutrients has to be absorbed. So we have certain specialized cells inside the small intestine. So we have certain finger-like projections. These projections are called villi. So the structures, they are arranged so in order to increase the surface area as well as to increase the absorption rate. So two important function of villi is to increase the surface area. The second is to increase the absorption rate. It can absorb maximum. Okay. So what will happen after absorption? It absorbs all the nutrients and they will send it to circulation. So if they need to send it to circulation, these villi will get connected to the blood vessels. So it is connected to blood vessels so that the absorbed nutrients will drain into where? It drains into circulation. So now the absorbed nutrients will be transported to the blood. Okay, now the blood will carry all the wanted nutrients. So what is the next step? So from small intestine, the food moves to where? The large intestine. I told you that there is a connector called the cecum. So cecum and this is ileum. This region is a connector. The small intestine will connect to the large intestine where the unwanted food will enter the large intestine. So all the wanted food are already absorbed by the villi, finger-like projection. Now the unwanted food will enter the large intestine. In the large intestine, water and few minerals are absorbed. So water and few minerals are absorbed. The remaining will be stored in a place called rectum. So the remaining waste will be stored temporarily in a place called rectum, and finally it is excreted via anus. So we saw two types. We saw a type of sphincter called the esophageal sphincter, right? And here we have two more sphincters that helps in easy movement. One is from the stomach, the food will reach the intestine. So between this, we have a sphincter called the pyloric sphincter. We call that as the pyloric sphincter, which acts between the stomach and the intestine. And one more sphincter is at the anal region called the anal sphincter. So as I already told you, the sphincter muscles will help in contraction and relaxation of muscles. So with the help of contraction and relaxation, the feces, which is stored temporarily in rectum, will be excreted out via anus. So this is how complete digestion takes place in the body. Any doubts, children? Okay. And one more important information is on the other side of intestine, large intestine, we have an organ called the vestigial organ. So we call that as vestigial organ, but it doesn't carry any function in our body. I think you would have heard appendix. So appendix is the vestigial organ that doesn't play any vital role, but still it is present in the other side of the large intestine. Okay. So now we'll have a small summarization of the process in brief. Now let us summarize the process of digestion. So I am going to give you a scenario and you are going to find which component is going to get digested in which part. Okay. So let us start. So let us take an example of our favorite food, biryani, and all those who don't eat chicken can replace with paneer. Let's start. Okay. So we'll take biryani as an example, chicken and paneer. So now we are eating biryani. The food enters the mouth. The food enters the mouth with the help of teeth, tongue and saliva. The initial digestion of which takes place? Very good. So initial digestion of rice takes place in mouth. So rice is a carbohydrate. So initial digestion of rice takes place in mouth. Now the food enters the esophagus via peristaltic movement and reaches the stomach. So what digestion takes place in stomach? Very good. Chicken as well as paneer, because these two are protein stuffed. So these two gets digested in the stomach with the help of an enzyme called pepsin. So pepsin helps in digestion of chicken as well as paneer. Okay. Now the food will enter into their duodenum and it reaches the small intestine. So before entering into the small intestine, the action of liver and the action of pancreas plays an important role in the digestion of fat. So which digest? Very good. The oil or the ghee that we use are fat-rich substances that gets digested in small intestine by the secretion of bile salts as well as lipase. And one more important is pancreas not only digest fat, it can also digest protein as well as trace amount of carbohydrates. Okay. Now the food will enter into where? The small intestine, where complete digestion of food takes place in small intestine. Whereas the other vitamins and minerals like tomatoes and all mint that we use will get digested or they are readily absorbed in the body by the action of secretions of liver, like fat soluble gets digested in fat and water soluble gets digested in water, and as well as minerals that gets digested in by the secretions of HCl in stomach. So the complete digestion of food takes place in the small intestine, and what will happen? The complex substance turns into simpler forms which is absorbed by the finger-like projections called villi. Now this villi will have connectivity with the blood vessels, so it reaches the circulation. So all the wanted nutrients are absorbed. So it is absorbed. Now the unwanted nutrients will enter into where? It reaches the large intestine where only the water is retention back. So the water is absorbed back, and finally the waste is stored in the rectum and it is excreted via anus. So that is how digestion takes place. It starts from mouth and ends with anus. Any doubts, children? So let us see in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.